call this meeting to order. Thank you for joining us during our weekly hybrid MS breakfast meetings. My name is Pauline Lam, and I am your January program chair. At this time, please help me to welcome Oriana Chang, who will be introducing our lenders and moderating today's panel. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Oriana Chan, and I will be your moderator. So I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tiffany Wenzel. I'm from JP Morgan Private Bank.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ken Shen with Transglobal Private Lending.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lillian Min. I am with ShopRite Mortgage.
Good morning, everyone, again. My name is Janet Lowe, one and only J Lowe in town.
Okay, first question is for Tiffany. What is tax-aware borrowing?
Tax-aware borrowing is interest paid on certain types of personal debt that can help you reduce the true cost of borrowing for U.S. taxpayers. You may qualify for substantial deductions if the debts fall into one of three categories. One is mortgage interest. The second one is investment loan interest. And the third one is interest on loans used by principals for capital commitment to an operating trade or business.
Jen, what is bridge loan and why do I need it?
Bridge loan, as you know, is a bridge between now and later. So what happens for the bridge loan is a program, a loan program that help you, let's say you couldn't qualify for the regular mortgage, and you can use the bridge loan for 1 or 2 years and then build out the credit so that you could do a regular loan after that. And why do you need it? Just like I mentioned, because you still want to buy a house right now, but because of some situation you couldn't get a regular loan, then you can use the bridge loan to bridge the gap and get a house for now.
Maine, program for 5% down, 2 to 4 units property. What is special about this program? FHA already has a 3.5% down payment for 2 to 4 units.
Yes. I had closed this loan for a first-time home buyer about 5 years ago, and she got a 5% down with Freddie Mac. I remember at that time in a low-income area. And with that purchase, she was able to use the tenant's rental income to pay for the entire mortgage. That was the great things. And now she's moving to a private home. But the problem is at that time, the property was, the program was only restricted to certain low income area and with income restriction. So if you think that, so a lot of people wasn't able to actually like first time home buyer to 5% down to purchase 2 to 4 units. And is starting November 8 last year, 2023. So the Fannie Mae come up with a program. There's no income restriction. There's no certain geographic restriction. And if you think about FHA, they do have like a 3.5% down payment program for 2 to 4 units, but it does have like a self-sufficient limitation. The program, you say, if you have 4 units, you rent out 3 units. The rental income of the 3 units need to qualify for the mortgage itself, regardless of how much income the purchaser or the owner has. So with all the limitations, it actually excluded so many people that cannot qualify for this program. But when Fannie Mae came up with this program, this is extremely exciting because truly it's only 5% down and there's no such restrictions at all. And it's considered to be relatively easy for people to qualify for an investment property, which is extremely valuable asset for building a retirement. That's why I'm so excited about this program.
Okay, Janet Lowe, what is the most asked question for realtors or the public?
Yes, sister. She's one of my sister, by the way. My name is Janet Lowe. I want to know, every one of you, what would be a first thing that you ask the lender? What's your interest rate? Yeah, you got it. You got the price. Okay, so I'm not, I am not magic things that can see the future, but I can tell you that I'd be surprised if the next 12 months, because we're facing also the election year, if the Fed doesn't make the adjustment on the interest rate, I'll be very surprised. you're probably looking at 3 to 4 time adjustment on this. And do I know when? I don't. But I can tell you that that would be a very good thing that you can look into it. And, you know, interest rate go up and down, it's not a big deal. To me, it's not a big deal. I'm a lender. To me, it's not a big deal. I'm also a consumer. It's not a big deal when you needed the house, right? All right. Thanks, Oriana.
Tiffany Wenzel, question number 2. What are the benefits of tax-aware borrowing?
Benefits of tax-aware borrowing. Number one, it lowers their federal and state tax obligations. Number two, it improves your cash flow. Number three, it reduces your effective borrowing costs, which can be particularly beneficial in high tax jurisdiction states such as New York and California. So for example, an individual in the top federal income tax bracket of 37% paying $100,000 of loan interest this year could in theory turn that into a $40,800 tax savings. He or she might also enjoy a tax break at the state level, which could be particularly beneficial in a high tax jurisdiction like California.
Ken Shen, how is a bridge loan different from the regular mortgage?
Actually, in the market right now, there's 3 types of loans. One is what we call the A-paper loan. So if you have a W-2 and then 2 years tax return, then you could do, and that's the best interest. Then followed by what we call the stated income mortgage, where you mentioned to lender that you have a certain amount of income. But because it's stated income, you actually have to provide more documents to prove that you do have that income. And the rate is slightly higher. And the third type is what we call the bridge loan or the hard money loan. What they do is it's actually pure asset-based only loan. So that's why a lot of lenders out there, they might tell you, okay, we don't need to check income because it's purely based on equity.
Lillian Meng, what are the major differences between investment purpose and owner-occupied related to multi-unit property financing?
Yes. So if it's an investor want to purchase a 2 to 4 units property, they have to put at least 20 to 25% of down payment. The other thing is just like Ken just mentioned, that will be like something, a non-QM loan, will have a higher interest rate. But for owner-occupied property, there's a 5% down. Is you cannot buy investment property 2 to 4 units with 5% down. So there's a 5% down for owner-occupied, the first-time home. It has to be first-time home buyer. It's extremely a wonderful opportunity for people to go into the market. Thank you.
Janet Lowe, as most baby boomers homeowners age, and with the cost of living in California increasing, what would you suggest to homeowners whose retirement income has not kept up?
If I was them, I would consider a reverse mortgage, because what happened in a reverse mortgage, the consumer doesn't need to make a house payment. And you get, if the house is paid off, okay, pretend that the house is paid off or even have a very large equity. I believe that in Southern California, most of the homeowner have a very large equity in there right now. If you hold the property for at least 5 to 10 years already. And I have a lady that in her 50s, this is the situation. She was asking me, what should I do? My father is in his 80, and you know, he's in his deathbed. Once my dad's gone, I think I'm going to be out of the house and I am going to be on the street, become a homeless. I said, no, you're not. I make sure that I take care of you. Right? Reverse mortgage. That's what we're going to go. And she's in her 50s. She's qualified. 55 and up. All right. Thanks, Oriana.
Tiffany Wenzel, question number 3. What are the qualifications?
Not all types of personal loans qualify for an interest deduction. For example, car loans and credit card interests are not deductible. Similarly, interest can only be deducted by the taxpayer who is primarily liable for the debt. Thus, guarantors generally cannot take the deduction, even if they make some of the loan payments for the original debtor. To qualify as a deduction, interest on personal debt must fall into one of three categories, each of which is subject to certain restrictions. I will talk more about that in my next question.
Kenshin, number 3. What are the benefits of a bridge loan?
One of the primary benefit of the bridge loan is fast closing. Typically, a bridge loan can close within 5 to 10 business days. And another one is called escrow rescue, because we know a lot of times when people do the regular mortgage, things might happen and they couldn't close. So they could use the bridge loan to save them. And the next one is you could use it as a cash equivalent offer. Because since, like I said, a bridge loan is asset-based, as long as we know the asset is okay, we could approve the loan. So a lot of realtors, what they could do, they can do, they can remove the loan contingency and then 15-day escrow. So even though it's still a loan, but it's equivalent as cash. And this program is actually good for the foreign national buyers because foreign national buyers, they don't have credit. So they can use the bridge loan to help them to purchase the house. And then they use the other loan program to refinance it out. And lastly, it's really simple because it's just a balloon payment, simple interest. So it's really easy to understand.
Ian Ming, who can and how to qualify for this loan?
Yes. So this loan basically is for a kind of, a paper kind of loan. So to qualify, just like a regular agency loan, you do need to have a 2 years tax return to prove the income. And the debt to income ratio is extremely high, which is very good. It's 50% because with FHA, the 3.5% down, the debt ratio is about 34%. So, and the other thing is, the loan amount is very huge. We know that the conventional loan for 1 unit is about $764,000. You can qualify. For a 2 unit, you can qualify up to 981,000. For 3 unit, you can qualify to loan amount up to 186,000. And for a 4 unit, you can qualify up to 1.474, 1.4 million, almost 1.5 million of a loan amount. So with this huge loan amount and with 5% down, and with rental income, you can consider part of the qualified income and other benefit. And it's relatively easy to qualify. You can even use gift funds. So, and there's no limitation if you are the first time home buyer. But if you purchase like a 2 to 4 unit, use DSCR Pro, those income, the debt service, you use the investment property, use the rental income to qualify the purchase. A first-time home buyer, if you don't have any property, you don't have rental experience, you are not qualified for that income. But you are not qualified for that kind of property loan to purchase. But with this loan program, it has no restriction if you have property or if you have rental experience before. But the most important thing is you got to have 2 years tax return to qualify.
Janet Lowe, California property values are increasing. Are there any buyers, in your opinion, who can afford to purchase a home in California?
We have a room full of realtor. We should ask them, right? Don't you think? No, I mean, of course, she's asked me. I said, do you do business as a realtor? If you're doing business as a realtor, yes, you do. There's a plenty of buyers out there, but the whole question is supply and demand is not there. You have demand, but there's no supply. Am I correct? Yeah. Yeah. Everybody agree to it, right? Yeah. Okay. So there are still people buying houses. Believe me. Thank you.
Tiffany Wenzel, question number 4. What are some myths and misconceptions?
So I'm going to talk about some myths and misconceptions, and then I'm going to circle back and take a deeper dive on the 3 benefits. So one of the myths is my investment interest deduction is limited to the income. I earn on leverage investments that I make. So the fact is, generally speaking, the deduction can offset net investment income from anywhere in the taxpayer's portfolio. The second myth is investment interest cannot offset capital gains. Investment interest on the fact is that investment interest can offset capital gains. It can offset short-term capital gains without the taxpayer having to do anything. And long-term capital gains if the taxpayer elects to do so on his or her income tax return. So taking the deeper dive into the three qualifications. So the first one was the qualified residential interest. So interest is deductible on mortgage debt used to buy, build, or substantially improve a primary or secondary residence. Deduction may offset any type of income. Qualifying principal is capped at $750,000, $375,000 if married, filing separately. Deduction does not carry forward if unused, and deduction is allowable as a below-the-line deduction. The second one would be investment interest expense. Interest on debt used to purchase taxable investments is deductible. Amount of deductible interest is not capped, unlike the previous one. Deduction may not only offset net income from net income from investments, and this deduction carries forward if unused. The third one and last one would be the trade or business expense. Interest on debt used to make capital commitment to a trade or business in pass-through form, such as sole proprietorship, S corporation, or partnership is deductible. Expenses deductible against business income in determining net profit or loss. If business has a net loss, the ability to deduct that loss against other types of income depends on the taxpayer's relationship to the business. And deductions carry forward if unused.
Kenshin, what is the typical cost of a bridge loan, and what is the difference between interest-only payments and amortized payments?
Okay, so like I mentioned in the beginning, there are three types of loans. So bridge loans under the category third. So that's why the interest rate is a little bit higher. It's usually between 8% to 12% to 13%. So it depending on the lender. And usually for the bridge loan, they charge 1 to 2 point origination points. And the reason for the high fee is just like I said, because it's higher risk. But the benefit of it is you could let your borrower know that even though the rate is higher, but because it's a short-term loan, you actually help them to buy the house with you can get a lower offer with this type of loan. And as for the interest rate payment, usually because for bridge loan is interest only payment. So let's say a bridge loan rate that says of 8% is about equivalent to 7% regular loan payment. So sometimes client might question you regarding the higher interest rate. You let them know that actually is about the same as 1% lower of the regular loan. And when you look at the different types of those kind of loan, you see that actually the interest is really easy to calculate.
Lillian Ming, is this program available for foreign nationals?
Yes, we all understand that, loan program actually is tied so closely with government, many politic or economic policies. So this loan is not available to foreign national or to, or anything that you are no tax income or no income documentation loan. This loan program cannot use for that kind of applicants. The purpose is, I truly believe the government really want to encourage the home ownership of American hardworking people. Don't you agree? Yeah. So that's the purpose of this loan. And I believe that a lot of people can benefit from this program. And if you have any question regarding this program, please feel free to let me know. I know there are tips and can help to qualify and guidance, and I'm willing to help. Thanks.
Janet Lowe, interest rates are so high right now. How can anyone afford to purchase a home?
I want to have an interaction with all the audience here because all of our panel, all the speakers in the panel, they are so good. They tell you all the stuff, anything that you need to know about loan, right? I'm the ding dong. I'll tell you the true story. So which one of you was born in the 80s? You don't need to raise your hand, but but do you remember, I mean, if you're a child, you probably don't remember it. You remember how the interest rate was in the 80s? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so initial rate, adjustable, initial rate is 13.75. Highest one is 18.75. Right? Am I correct? Yeah, yeah. Guess what? I'm the one that have to buy a house at that time. Right? So interest rate doesn't matter to me. I need a house to live. I have my husband's family came over. We have 13 people in the house. Do you think any of you are landlord? You can rent me that house? No, I have no way to rent, so I have to buy. Do I have the money to buy like the way they are now? Nope. I don't even have 2 pennies to rub together. Let's put it that way. Okay. So have you ever heard of maybe Vin will know this, Elaine, Lorraine Cook will senile, you know, or Mel will remember it. Okay, so have you ever heard of owner carry?
Yes.
Oh, that tell me your age. We have to do owner carry second to buy the house. Huh? Yeah, the owner carry was the term was 5 years. They lend me the money for 5 years, interest only payment until the 5 years due. Then I have to pay the full amount. Guess what? Everybody go to work. 13 people. What are you doing at home? Right? So we pay off the loan in 3 years. Yeah, and then we refinance, of course. 13.75. You think that I'm just sitting there and watch Jimmy Carter to raise the rate again? Nah, we go refinance. The last financing was 5.5%, and it was only $50,000 in my account in my loan. No, my husband was not happy. He said, everybody get 3.5. Why are you still staying 5.5? And he nagged enough that I have to pull him down and sit him down. I said, look, I'm going to calculate the cost for you, and I'm going to calculate the interest that you pay and see which one is better. After that, he shut his mouth. So that's why I told you, interest rate is not a big deal because I experience it. So I can talk about it. Okay.
That concludes our lenders panel. Let's give them a hand. We got a few minutes for questions. Anybody has any questions?
Hi, my name is Sylvia, and thank you, all panelists. But Janet, question for you. Regarding the carryback, 3 years ago, I have a seller, 95 years old, was willing to do a carryback. What do you say to a client at that age to do a carryback?
Because they probably have that tax preference. That's why they want to carry back.
I understand that, but is he gonna live long enough to get his money back?
Nobody can predict how long he's gonna live, but in case it happened.
So
then-
what precautions do you suggest for us as practitioners to the client and the client's family when they're not in agreement with something like this?
Well, when he passed away, you can sell the loan.
Okay,
You can
and
sell
are all loans assumed to be sellable, transferable, whatever, or are those clauses that are going to be stipulated on there on a case by case?
Case by case.
Okay, thank you very much.
No, it's not the trust. It's the term, the loan.
Thank
term.
you. Anybody else?
In the note. No, it's 160. Actually, we pay 160 minus 4,000, and then at the last minute, the owner fussy and they don't want to sell it to us. I mean, what are we gonna do? Right? So we give them back 4,000, so 160 at the time. Now it's 1.2 mil.
Okay, let's give them a hand. Thank you.
Wow. It's a wonderful section today, right? We learned a lot of for the new changing. And let's give them a big round of applause again. Thank you everyone for joining our meeting today. And this will be conclude my service to you for January program chair. Have a wonderful day, and this meeting is now adjourned.